All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm gonna say Kahalayim La Yahabashim Shabashim Rakakodash. Double honors to my apostles, to the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace and love to all the brothers doing this work in truth and sincerity, and to the elders who rule well. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18. It says, By much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through. So we are that temple. If you're a part of this temple, part of the ministry, if you're not, if you're idle and you're being slothful, first and foremost, it goes for me. This goes for me first, teaching this lesson. Because if I'm not practicing what I'm preaching, then I'll be a hypocrite. But, it says, if you're a part of this, the body, you're part of that temple, that third temple that's being built, which is a spiritual temple, you must be abounding. You must be putting your hands to work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be. You can't be slothful. You can't be idle. Constantly being still. You gotta be abounding. You gotta be putting in work. You can't be lazy. You can't be lazy. This is Proverbs 6:6. It says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise." Because if you was wise enough to sit back and observe an ant, you would see the characteristics of an ant and why the Lord chose an ant in that scripture, and why He created an ant and the characteristics of an ant. That's what the Lord wants you to observe. He wants you to observe the characteristics of an ant. What does it do? What do they stand for? Not basically what they stand for, but what are their characteristics? What do they do? They're always working. And who are they working for? They're working for the mother ant, constantly bringing food, constantly providing, constantly putting in that work. They don't get tired. I don't believe ants get tired. I really don't believe they get tired. They always working. But us being in these corruptible, weak ass bodies, man, sometimes we get a little beat down, a little tired, but we always working though. And we ought to be like that for this word, like they say, if you don't work, you don't eat, man. So we gotta always be working, gotta always work. So consider the ant. Now the Lord compared an ant, the characteristics of an ant. What are the characteristics of a sloth? If you ever seen a video of a sloth, they are very slow animals. Like, I seen a video one time, I believe I was strolling on Facebook or whatever, and I seen a video of a sloth that got stuck in the road and somebody had to help it out because those animals move very slowly. That's why the Lord created them that way. He made them to move very slow. Sloth. That's where you get the word slothful, because of the characteristics of a sloth. They don't move very fast. I want to say they're sloths. That's the best way to describe it. They're not very adamant. They're not very persistent. They're not very what's the word I'm looking for? In layman's terms, they're not the fastest workers. They're not the fastest animals. The Lord created them to move a little slower than every other animal out there. And if a sloth is in the road, just believe that it's going to take a long time for that animal to cross the street, because they're slow. And it was created like that. They move slow. So if you're moving slow, you'll get left. The Lord don't like that kind. Let's see. Okay, Proverbs 15 and 19. 19 and 15. Because we can't be slothful. That goes for me first and foremost. This is Proverbs 19:15. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and a idle soul shall suffer hunger. So we can't be idle. You got to be always moving, always doing some work, you know. Even when it comes down to the ministry, you got to always be working, whether it's reading, studying, watching videos, meditating, praying, because you might not always have time to actually pull out your scripture and read. So that comes a time when this Bible has to be a part of you. Yeah, these scriptures have to be in your heart, in your mind, always abounding. All of these scriptures must be in our minds, man, in our hearts. Just like how I was quoting scriptures, because he is the word. He's the embodiment of the word. So we must do likewise. So the message is, don't be slothful, for me first and foremost, and for you brothers out there. Because if you being slothful, then the Lord will take your candlestick away. Because he don't like for men to be lukewarm. He wants you, if you were cold, be cold. If you're hot, be hot. But he don't like you to try to be in the middle. Because that means you're trying to serve God and mammon. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. So I'm going to start at 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou were cold or hot. So he would rather you be cold or you be hot. He don't want you to be in the middle. Either you on fire or you don't really believe, Salakia. Verse 16. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So we got to be hot. We got to be on fire. We got to do what we're supposed to do, Do what you got to do. Do the work. Preach the gospel. Teach the ministry. We got to be servants. We got to do what we got to do. Get in, get out, man. Everybody has their portion of faith. So let me get that real quick. Okay, this is Romans chapter 12, verse 6. It says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. So each man, a part of the temple, has a different portion of faith. Everybody not going to be on the same level, but it's important that you do according to what you have. The level that you have, make sure you give it your all. The portion that you have, make sure you giving it your all. Doing what you got to do. Making sure you're doing what you got to do for the Lord in order to stay fighting, to stay in the battle, I don't feel good. Just make sure you're doing that. Do what is required, what is demanded of you to the best of your ability, man. We all face adversity, but it's how you deal with it that makes you overcome the adversity. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Okay, so we know that the works that we doing are not in vain, And we got to be steadfast. We got to always be abounding in doing the work of the Lord. Meditating, Do things that is required of you, man. Prophesy according to your portion of faith. The Lord is finna deliver his men. The Lord is finna deliver his elect, Salakia. You know, because he's not coming for everybody. So we almost out of this place, man. So we got to keep on pushing, keep on trucking, and keep on trucking, man. You know, so remember, we got to be steadfast. That means you got to be standing firm, you know. Steadfast. It means what it says. And I can get a quick definition for it, but, you know, actually, let me go to it. The Strong's in this Bible. Okay. Steadfast. Okay. It says immovable. So basically, you're gonna be settled into this truth. You're not gonna be movable. And it also says unmovable. So we gotta remain firm. We gotta be like trees. You know, trees are firmly rooted into the ground, and they're unmovable. Like you can't move a tree. You know, so we gotta be like those trees, man, in order to obtain salvation, which is coming very soon, might I add. So I hope you brothers was edified with this little quick lesson through the Spirit. Gotta remain abounding, you know, abounding in the work of the Lord, always doing the work of the Lord, because this is our reasonable service and this is our whole duty of man, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom, kwam yashala, wa ababa, wa abada, shalom.